So, as I mentioned in my previous video, so the Nintendo Switch had a lot of third-party games. Some actually really good ones, to be honest. But at the same time, I feel like the Switch 2 could actually improve. So, obviously, I will be counting down my top 10 games that I want on the Switch 2. So, starting off at number 10, we of course have Valkyrie Elysium. So this was released on the PS4 and of course the PS5 a couple years back, and I feel like it would actually fit very well on the Switch. In fact, I feel like the other games in the series should come out on the console too. But of course, if you might have to do one for now, I feel like it would be this one. I feel like it would fit well in the Switch's library, and frankly, I would love to see more people play this game. Next up, you of course have Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2. Well, Battlefield 3 and 4 definitely could be on the Switch. I feel like these two would be a much more welcomed addition on the Switch too. And honestly, not enough to really say about the series. But frankly, I feel like, again, if any Battlefield games do come to the Switch, it would definitely have to be these two, because they're among two of the best entries in the series, and overall some pretty fun games to play. And I feel like with the Switch's mobility, I feel like Battlefield on the go would absolutely be interesting. Next up, you of course have the Call of Duty series. Now, of course, this could potentially be just talking about the Modern Warfare trilogy. When I meant the Call of Duty series, I mainly meant from Modern Warfare all the way to World War II. I don't know if Black Ops 6 really. I don't know if Black Ops 4 has the popularity or is even still alive as a game. Not to mention, recent card games aren't exactly uh, console friendly in the storage department. But I feel like if there had to be any Call of Duty games on the Switch, I would definitely love to see the Modern Warfare trilogy make its way onto the new console. I feel like this would actually bring a bit more life into that series. Obviously, not that there isn't life in this game. I mean, after all these years, it's still one of the most popular entries in the series. But I would, again, love to see it be on the Switch and be able to play it on the go. Next up, we of course have the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, Final Fantasy has been on Nintendo systems before, and we have quite a few. I think we have the first 10 entries plus Final Fantasy 12 on the Switch, and we've also had other entries on Xbox too. But the Final Fantasy VII Remake has been exclusive on PlayStation for quite a bit. Now, there are rumors that it will be on the Switch too, along with Rebirth. I don't know if these are true or not. Kind of hope they are, because, well, honestly, playing Final Fantasy on the Switch would be absolutely fun. But I feel like, again, I feel like it would go well with the Switch's library. So, next up, we of course have Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus is an RPG developed by Bandai Namco. It was one I played, I want to say late 2023, I think. Overall, it's a really fun game and one I've been meaning to review on the channel. Unfortunately, it just skipped the Switch, which is unfortunate because I feel like the Switch wouldn't have been able to run it. Not to mention, the Switch is home to a lot of really good RPGs, and Scarlet Nexus would have fit perfectly among them. So here's hoping that this does come out on the Switch too. Next up, we of course have more Atlas titles. Now, Atlas has been fine about porting the games to our consoles. I mean, on the Switch, we do have Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Persona 3, 4, and 5, Persona 5 Tactica, and we of course have SMT 5 and Vengeance. And we do have some other Atlas titles, but I feel like there should be more, and it's kind of unfortunate that games like Soul Hackers and of course Metaphor have actually skipped the Switch. Same thing with Persona 3 Reload. I don't know why these skipped the Switch. I feel like these would have been perfect on the Switch and maybe able to run on them. But, I mean, Atlas is kind of an interesting company to begin with. Next up, we of course have the Spider-Man trilogy. This is probably wishful thinking because this series has been exclusive to Sony for quite a bit, but I feel like the Spider-Man trilogy would fit very well on the Switch, and I feel like it would be able to take advantage of the motion controls with the console too. And of course, I just kind of want to have a reason to actually replay uh, the so far wonderful two games. I haven't started Spider-Man 2 yet, but hopefully we have this wonderful trilogy on the Switch sometime. Next up, we of course have Atlas Fallen. So Atlas Fallen definitely should be on the Switch. It's a really fun game and was one of my favorite games of 2024, even though it released in 2023. But overall, it's a really awesome game and I would love to see it on the Switch. So hopefully we'll see this one if any of these get selected for it. Next up, we of course have Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, frankly, I could just say Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5, but I feel like 5 would probably be the more go-to choice. This isn't to say that GTA 4 is not worth being on the Switch, though. Frankly, I would love to see both those games on the Switch. It's just, I feel like 5 would be the more popular entry to be on the Switch. Although they probably would have a lot of trouble getting online to work, if it would even be included. But of course, before I get to my number one pick, I just want to give an honorable mention to Solstice and of course Dante's Inferno, two games that I frankly adore and I frankly wish that they would be on the Switch or at least on a future Nintendo console. And next up is my number one pick, and that is of course the Mass Effect trilogy and Andromeda. This would be the perfect launch title for the Switch too. Even if it's a few years old at this point, I feel like the Switch would be perfect to run it. We've already seen Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U, and it's just odd that the original two entries never made it onto the Wii U either, and it's also weird that Andromeda never made it to the Switch either, especially because there's been more demanding games on the Switch when compared to Andromeda. Honestly, it's just kind of sad to see, but hopefully this trilogy, well, hopefully these four games do make their way on the Switch. Hopefully the Switch does get some of these games, but most importantly, hopefully the Switch 2 has a really good third-party library. I'm pretty sure Nintendo has learned from the mistakes with the Wii U, and considering on how successful the Switch was, I'm pretty sure that Nintendo's definitely going to be looking at third-party games for the Switch 2 and to encourage people to buy it. But that's all I really have to say for the Switch 2. It was fun making this video, but of course I think this is going to be my final video on the Switch 2, at least up until it gets released or there's something announced on it, because I don't really want to do too many speculation videos. Nothing against that, it's just not the content I want to make. But I only did it this time because, well, I kind of want to get into the hype train for the Switch 2. But of course, that's all I have to say for today. So until then, thank you all for watching. It's been fun, and have a nice day.